Hi guys, so today I'm going to talk to you about 5 tips for maximizing your time spent on social media. One of the biggest things that people come to me for around social media is they tell me, Lauren, I just don't have the time to spend on social media. And what I tell them is that just like everything else in life, you make time for what you want to prioritize. So not having time really isn't an excuse. You're really just saying, I don't want to prioritize social media right now, which is okay. But if you do want to succeed on social media, it is essential that you show up consistently in your posting, in your engaging, and just building your community on there, because that's just essential for success on the channel. So while I can't help you find more time for your schedule, I do have 5 tips that I want to share that will help you make the most of your time on social media and will help you stay consistent on social media. So the first tip is just keep yourself accountable and put that time in your schedule for content creation, because that's the part that takes people the longest, the most time, when they can't think of something to post and then they just give up because they feel like they're wasting too much time and say, okay, I'll just post tomorrow. So you need to have a method to this, and there are 2 methods that typically work well. The first method is posting and creating content every single day. So for this, I would recommend just putting it in your calendar. So you have an hour, 2 hours, however amount of time that you have to spend on social media per day. And you just show up for that time, just like you would when you exercise, when you eat your meals. It's just something that's part of your day that you commit to and you do every day. And if you're someone who has a less consistent schedule or just doesn't feel creative every day and it's hard to come up with ideas daily, another way that you can do this is through bulk content creation. So you pick 1 day of the week or 2 days of the week, and that's where you actually sit down for a big brainstorm session and you outline all of your posts for the week. And then every day you can just spend a little bit less time posting and engaging. So that's usually best for people who have an inconsistent schedule or people who don't want to sit that time every day doing that content creation. My second tip is to have a content calendar. And I know this is very basic, but I know that a lot of brands still struggle with this, of knowing what to post every day, because things are always changing, events pop up, and it's hard to juggle. So what I like to tell people who are struggling with their content is to actually create content buckets that they use each week. So every day of the week they have a different content bucket, and then if there's a timely thing that happens, like an event or big news, then it can kind of knock that bucket out of the way for the day and just focus on that timely content. But then the next week you come back to that content bucket. So it's really something that you can be as flexible or not flexible with, but it tends to work very well for every brand. And what your content buckets are going to be, the content categories, will depend for every brand, but here are a few that typically work for every single brand out there. So the first one is actually the content category of your own brand. So talking about what your brand is, what the values are, the story behind it, whether it's a personal brand or a business brand. So this is really showing your ideal audience who you are, what you're about, so that they can identify if you are the right fit for them. The second content category that tends to work for every single brand is addressing your audience's pain points. So you need to know your ideal audience really, really well. You need to know where they are now, where they want to be, and what's stopping them from getting there, and how your product or business or whatever can help them to do that. So you want to address their exact pain points and how you can help solve them in your social media posts. The third content category that typically works well for all businesses is teaching. So you are either teaching your ideal audience how to use your product, or teaching them how to get better in some sort of way, or teaching them on a topic that resonates with them. So it could be something within your industry. So for example, if you have a health blog, you would teach them how to make certain recipes. REI has a bunch of YouTube channels on just how to do little backpacking hacks and how to make campfire recipes. So these are things that have to do with their brand and their ideal audience, but they're not directly related to selling, but they're providing value for their audience. So this is what I mean in teaching and educating. And another content category that works very well is lifestyle. So on social media especially, people aren't really following you for your product, they're following you for the lifestyle that your pages are representing. So they like the way it looks, they like the content, they feel inspired. So that's the lifestyle type of content. So this can be things like an inspirational post, it could be a beautiful graphic, it could be a story, it could be a video, that storytelling that a lot of brands are using now and spending a lot of money on. So this is all showing the lifestyle that your ideal audience wants to have and showing how your brand can help them get there. And then lastly, you don't want to forget about the content bucket of selling. So a lot of people are afraid to sell on social media, and of course you want to do it in a way that resonates with your audience, but the truth of the matter is if you're only using organic social media, only 5% of the people following your business page on Facebook are going to see your content. Only around 25%, if I'm being generous, are going to see your content on Instagram. So every time you sell something, not everyone is going to see that post. So that's why you need to be consistently letting your audience know what your product is, what's available, and telling them to get it. Because if you're not letting them know what's available, it's very likely that they're going to go to your website and purchase your product. My third tip is to stop scrolling. You do not want to be scrolling through Instagram every day. Even if you think you're doing competitor research should be done separately and in increments. That's not something you want to be doing every single day and looking at other people's content, especially in your industry. So this is the biggest #1 time waster that people spend on social media every day. It's not helpful at all. It actually takes away from your creativity, it takes away from your confidence, it makes you second guess yourself, it distracts you from your purpose and your vision and your brand. So my recommendation is just not even to do it at all. You don't want to be scrolling. You do want to be engaging, but you're not going to look in your newsfeed of scrolling to do that engaging, which I'll talk about in the next point. So instead of spending all that time where you would be scrolling, you should instead be spending that engaging with your ideal audience. So of course you want to be replying to the comments and the messages from people within your community already and your followers that reach out to you. But this is the part that most brands miss, is you actually also need to be the engager, and you need to be spending time going outside of your community and engaging with other members of your ideal audience who don't know you yet. So a great way to do this is to go to similar pages that have audience crossover. So this basically means that you go to pages that have the same ideal audience as you, and you want to reach out and engage with those followers of those pages. So that's a direct line to members of your ideal audience who don't know about you yet. So this is #1, the best way to build an engaged, great following of people who are actually going to convert into customers, which is the whole point, because if you have thousands of followers on social media, it doesn't matter unless they're converting to customers. So that's why this method is such a good use of time. Yes, it takes time to reach out and engage and leave thoughtful comments and start thoughtful conversations, but it is worth it because those people are your people. So all you have to do is get that one-on-one connection going, and then later on they'll likely follow you, and then if you're posting content that resonates with them, later on they will convert to your customers. And my last tip is my favorite one, and it's just to get connected to your purpose every time you're on social media. So it's very easy to get distracted and just be thinking about the numbers all the time. So is my followers going up or down? Did I get more engagement today than yesterday? But really, if you think about it, those things don't matter as much as what's the purpose behind why I'm on social media? And how can I utilize social media to serve my purpose? That's what you want to be asking yourself every day, and that's how you want to be evaluating whether or not you're doing a great job on social media. So getting dialed into your purpose is going to help you push through. It's going to help you stay motivated. It's going to help you keep showing up because you know that you want to serve your audience to serve that bigger purpose. So this is the best way to get yourself out of a funk and back on track, in my opinion. So I hope you enjoyed these 5 simple tips for making the most of your time on social media. And I actually have a 5-day free challenge right now available if you want to download. It's totally free and it goes into depth more of all of these different topics that I talked about and teaches you how to do each one step by step. So I will link that below in this video. So check that out if you're interested, and just follow me if you want to see more videos.